Hello, welcome to Unit 3, Chapter 3, Aptitude and Foundational Values for Civil Service. And aptitude refers to the ability and understanding of a man to do work efficiently and effectively. And aptitude shows the individual to demonstrate exceptional prowess and acumen in doing certain work with vigor and vitality. A person with high aptitude for a subject learns quicker and efficiently than someone who does not have the aptitude towards that subject. Aptitude is not knowledge, nor it is an achievement, nor it is an understanding, nor it is an ability or a skill or attitude. The innate nature of aptitude is in contrast to achievement. It is totally different from all these. Now, important concept is that of foundational value. Now, what is value? Values are the foundations on which our society is built. They serve as a source of moral precepts that govern the actions of the community. For example, democracy is a government for the people and of the people. Now, the key definition of democracy suggests that the government will work for the welfare of the people. This shows how values are important for this form of government. Now, a value is a universal value. Now, I am going to explain what is the universal value. Now, a value is a universal value if it has the same value or worth for all, or for almost all people. According to Berlin, universal values are values that many human beings in many places and situations hold in common. That is the definition of value according to Berlin. Amartya Sen holds that something could have universal value when all people have reasons to believe it has value. And Amartya Sen has given the example of Mahatma Gandhi's use of non-violence. And they say non-violence was appreciated by people because it had universal value. So this was the reason. And this way, Amartya Sen defines universal value. Now, Schwartz defines a universal value as the conception of the desirable influencing how people select an action and evaluate events. Schwartz has conducted empirical research, and on that basis, he investigates different kinds of values. And there he says that there are 10 universal values. Now see, what are those universal values? Power is a value which can be said to be a universal value because it gives physical and mental strength to meet adversity. Achievement, again, is a value that represents personal success through demonstrating competence according to social standards. Now, hedonism is a universal value because every human being desires pleasure from the core of his heart. Again, universalism is a universal value because it recommends understanding, appreciation, tolerance, and protection for the welfare of all people. Now, since benevolence is to think about the pleasure and welfare for others, so this benevolence is also a universal value. We are all shaped and embedded in certain culture. So again, this culture, according to Schwartz, is a universal value. Now, self-direction is valuable because with this one can have independent thought and action, choosing, creating, and exploring. Now, security as stands for the safety, harmony, and stability of society. So, it is again a universal value. Some values do not change through the march of time and are as valid today as they were valid hundreds of years ago. They are called eternal values. Such values are called eternal values. Values are important for public servants because these help public servants to maintain efforts to promote clean, high-performing, more accountable and transparent administration at all levels. Important values for public servants are impartiality, goodness, integrity, faithfulness, objectivity, empathy, tolerance, and fearlessness. What is integrity? Integrity is a universal value that represents honesty on the part of a public servant. Now, he will act with integrity in doing his duties and always thinks about the public interest and not for his own personal gains. This is precisely the meaning and definition of integrity. Now, a public servant cannot, without due authority, disclose, or make known any matter or information that comes to them or their knowledge by their public office, or just because of their being public servants. Public servants cannot engage in any business or transaction of a financial or personal nature that would compromise the fair and honest discharge of their duties. Now, public servants make significant decisions on recruitment, mentoring, and allocation of funds. So they must be impartial in the distribution system. Justice can be maintained, which is another important value for public servant. They should not prefer the benefit of one person over another for important reasons. Impartiality is acting solely according to the merit of the case. And these public servants have to become impartial in doing their duties. They should implement the policy as per the laws and rules, and not as per the pressure and directions put on them by higher authorities. Public servants do not engage in activities that impair or seem to impair their impartiality or the impartiality of the public service. Non-partisanship is again an important value for public servants. Non-partisanship means to become politically neutral, not to become a member of any political party, nor one should have alliance with any political party. This is called non-partisanship. Non-partisanship is an essential value of public service. The term non-partisan means not to become a member of any political party. The other key element of non-partisanship is the staffing system, which must be maintained without the influence of any political party or political masters. Public servants maintain non-partisanship by ensuring objective and evidence-based advice to ministers, who can use it in establishing policies and programs. Now, public servants ensure a legal and constitutional transition when democratic processes result in new administration. Because you all know that government goes on changing. Once the government is of one political party, then next time government becomes of another political party. So public servants are supposed to change their integrity and their dependence on other government which has been formed. not that they should stick to what the former government was instructing them. Now, public servants ensure a legal and constitutional transition when such changes take place. The duty of a public servant towards ministers is to provide the information to ministers who must fulfill their accountability role in Parliament. A public servant maintains political neutrality in a parliamentary system of government by making politics and policy separated from the administration. These two should be separated, politics and administration. Thus, politicians make policy decisions. Public servants execute these decisions. Public servants are appointed and promoted based on merit rather than party affiliation or contributions. Now, public servants should not publicly express their personal views on government policies or decisions. No, they don't have this right. A non-partisan public service means that public servants must long-term challenges using non-partisanship. This means pursuing non-partisan objectives in providing policy and administering public programs. Now, in maintaining objectivity, a public official makes such decisions that are universal and necessary and are based on rigorous evidence. Advice and decisions of public servants must be based on rigorous analysis of evidence. They must be based on evidence. That's the important element of objectivity. Now, presentation is an element of objectivity. What does it mean? This means to disseminate information in an accurate, clear, complete, and unbiased manner. This is presentation, an element of objectivity. This involves presenting information within a proper context where appropriate data should have complete, accurate, and transparent documentation. The data and analytic results have been subjected to formal, independent, external peer review. See, this peer reviewer or peer review is also the element contained in the idea of objectivity. Now, peer reviewers must be selected primarily based on necessary technical expertise. Only they should be selected. Now, peer reviewers are expected to disclose to agencies prior technical policy and positions they may have taken on the issue at hand. So they must also be very particular towards this. Now, a public servant being dedicated should complete his assigned work on time, even if he has to work even till extra time of his office. Dedication in public service is most important value. It manifests itself in its funding, education, and support, resulting in the most comprehensive public service. The spirit of dedication to public service and sacrifice is an essential ingredient of public services, and public officials should feel inspired that they are working for a national cause. The real picture of the present society is an increase in selfishness and a general lack of concern for other individuals. What we have in India is not a sacrificing society, but a consumer society. Mahatma Gandhi has said that there is enough in the world for everyone's need, but not for their greed. This statement means that some hoarders are even beyond their needs, hoard things. Resources are limited. Many people are in the queue waiting for something to get. So one should hoard only for his requirement so that others may get something out of it. The present work culture of public office is that there is an atmosphere of sloth and inefficiency. Employees come late to the office, take an extended lunch break, leave early, and are indifferent assigned. The Fifth Pay Commission had the following to say. See, today the government offices are seen as dusty, moth-eaten, dingy, paper-infested, oval chock full of babuch, which is feudal in outlook. Despite being one of the largest providers of services, there is complete lack of customer orientation in various government departments. See, babuch were sitting with that feudal outlook that they must get something out of the work they perform for the public. So the existing work culture in public service must be changed by inculcating the philosophy of Niskama Karma propounded by our scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita. Now, empathy is another important value for public service. There is a difference between empathy and sympathy. Empathy is about feeling, while sympathy is about actions. There is a difference between empathy and psychopathy again. Empathetic people experiences the real, have the real feeling for others, while a psychopath does not and probably cannot empathize with others. They are often good at imitating this. So psychopath does certain thing showing that he has a that he does not have that sympathy for others in the real sense of the term. Now, empathy connects people. Yes, when you empathize with me, my sense of identity is connected to yours. As a result, I may also start to emphasize more with you. Again, empathy displayed can be surprising and confusing. How? When somebody empathizes with you, then in the beginning, we have certain suspicion that why this man is showing empathy with me. But in course of time, you start realizing that yes, empathy is genuine. So this becomes the stages and processes of the value empathy. Now, empathy thus quickly leads to trust. Definitely, when you empathize someone, then he will have a trust in you and you will have a trust in him. Empathy means to share the experience of others. What is the meaning of empathy? To share the experience and feelings of others. Sharing feelings, but very important, of others. Now we can know the feelings of others. How can we know the feelings of others? By seeing what they say, how they say it, and what they do, which can also be described as words, music, and dance. So it is this way that you can have and know the feelings of others, share the feelings of others. Now, there is a difference between empathy and compassion. Empathy is to feel and experience others' feelings, while compassion is to show a sort of sympathy towards a bad situation of someone. Now come tolerance. Again, is a value for public service. Tolerance means a fair, objective, and permissive attitude towards people of other opinion, of other practices, race, religion, nationality, etc. That is what we call tolerance. A public servant must be tolerant in this sense. So, tolerance also becomes an important value. Today, people are shivering through tension due to serious competition at all levels. This is the present situation, no one can deny. They need to make changes in them as per the need and demands of the situations. This is possible only when they develop the value of tolerance in them. The word refers to the prestige and status of a man who has mastered tolerance. He is supposed to be a man of high status. The power to tolerate means to remain seated in self-respect and not give power away to a situation or person, thereby hurting oneself. No, this is not the meaning of tolerance. It's about being a master and choosing an appropriate, peaceful response. A public servant must master the power of tolerance because it is his duty to take utmost care of weaker section people whose problems are immediately settled. Now, due to tolerance, one is able to control one's temper and anger. He alone can control his temper and anger. Now, compassion is also an important value. What does compassion mean? Compassion commonly leads to an active desire to alleviate another's sufferings. That is called compassion. It is often, though not inevitably, the critical component that manifests in the social context as altruism. The quantitative dimension of compassion is expressed in terms of depth, vigor, and passion. Now, in Hindu tradition, compassion is called daya, charity and self-content. Compassion makes the heart of the good move at the pain of others. It crushes and destroys the pain of others. This is compassion. It is called compassion because it shelters and embraces the distressed of others. Compassion is the cultivation of loving kindness, according to Buddha. The Dalai Lama said that if you want to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to make others happy, practice compassion. This is a very important statement of Dalai Lama. If public servants are focused on what results in they have to achieve and inspired to work for a national cause, there will be a quantum improvement in the delivery of public service. This aspects of the mission that government servant has. Now, a public servant should make decisions as per law and rules prescribed in making that decision. And most of the time, seniors put pressure on him to work as per their orders, although they are contrary to the law, rules, and regulations. Now, here a public servant must be fearless. This is needed, very important. The Shah Commission, which investigated the excesses committed during the emergency, found that public servants committed irregular and illegal acts, which caused immense suffering to the masses. not out of fear of their political masters. During the Nuremberg trial of Germany, remember, the top German army commanders told the War Crime Tribunal, what did they say? That they committed atrocities against the Jews out of fear of Nazi top brass. That was the reason. It is often seen that many public officials, though honest, themselves succumb to the unjust demands of political masters out of fear. So, courage becomes an important value for public servant. Courage means mustering the strength and will to do what you know you should, even though you are afraid. But still you do. This is courage. In today's complex and technocratic world, public servants must make quick and innovative decisions that need courage. P.S. Appu, director of the National Academy of Administration, showed great courage of conviction and stood by his principles. He quit his job, that P.S. Appu, who was director of the National Academy of Administration. He quit his job when he found that political masters were interfering his decisions to terminate the service of an IS provisional who was undisciplined and indulged in criminal activities. This showed how they say courage becomes important for a public servant. So, these are some important aspects of aptitude and foundational values. Now, with this, I'm going to close the presentation. Thanks.